have a vision. Hello and welcome to Mince Makes. I am Toby and I hope you are inspired to make something from today's video, or you learned something. I have a vision of a knitting project and I decided that I would vlog it, see how it goes. I like having some sort of record of what I have been working on, and it's sometimes hard to find a place to put that all together, and so a YouTube video is an easy place and it doesn't take up storage on my phone once I delete all the clips. So let me tell you about my vision. I went to an antique store the other day and I found this bowl. Very cool, has flowers. These are like divots here, and then these are like kind of etched in, or actually they're also kind of like they've got texture to them. So this is my bowl. You might be wondering, what is so cool about this bowl? What are you using this bowl for? Of course I'm using this bowl to make cyanotypes. Of course. The minute I got home, I immediately started working on making cyanotypes with this bowl. I've got a few other bowls that are really cool too, but this one was really very special. So I coated my paper with my cyanotype solution, and I placed my bowl on top of my paper, and I actually used a UV light to make these. It's a new UV light that I have where I can make my cyanotypes inside. I'm always going to prefer, I think, making them using the sun, but I like that I have the option to make some inside, and especially if it's dark or like a really cloudy day, it's nice to have that option, or if it's raining, nice to have that option. Here's what I made. They're all a little bit different because the exposure time varied. This one was in for the longest, and I like this one, this kind of medium one, the best. This was in for the shortest, so you can kind of see the differences. I also made a little notions or like makeup bag using the same bowl, and then inspiration struck and I said I want to knit a t-shirt or a tank top, and then I want to use the bowl to create a picture on the tank top. So that is what I'm gonna do. I have some yarn. This is Organic Cotton Sport by Blue Sky Fibers. I need more of it. This is all I have. It's just 50 grams, so I do need more. And now I need to pick a pattern. I have 3 patterns in mind. The first one is the Sunshine Tee by Andrea Gaughan. This pattern just released in late April, which is the time it is right now. I don't know how long this will take me. So I like this pattern. I like that it's simple. I've liked every Andrea Gaughan pattern that I've made. So I think this would be a really fun option. And it's stockinette, simple in the front, want something flat so that I can really make the bowl print shine. Second option is Kalank by Sandrine C, which is a very simple tank. There'll be pictures here of the patterns. And I think this would be a really good option too because it's very simple. It doesn't have sleeves, so it would use like a little bit less yardage. And yeah, that would be a good option. And last option is the Florence Polo by Beck Penner. This I think would also be a cool option. They're all cool options. I don't know. I have to decide. And get more yarn. So that's where I am right now. I need to get more yarn and decide on a pattern. And once I do that, I'll see you then. And then I'll, cast on and start working on the knitting process of this. And then it'll be time to cyanotype it. So stay tuned on my little project vlog. I hope you enjoy. See you once I've chosen a pattern. Okay, so I have bought more yarn. So I have 4 skeins of Blue Sky Organic Cotton Sport. And I think I've picked a pattern, which is not any of the 3 patterns that I previously talked about. but I already have this pattern in my library and I love all of her other patterns, so I think I'm gonna go with the Helianthus Tank by Andrea Gaughan. It is written for fingering weight, so I think I'm just gonna I did some math, some gauge math, and I think I'm just gonna make size 1, hoping for it to fit like a size 2, a little bigger than a size 2. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'll stick with like a good gauge for my sport weight, and then I'll just knit a smaller size so it'll turn out the right size. I think it'll be great. I don't think I'm gonna swatch, which I might regret later. We'll see. I usually swatch for things, so I don't know. Maybe I'll regret it, and then maybe I will swatch and be like, wow, should have done that earlier. We'll see. We'll find out. Stay tuned. I'm gonna wind my yarn. Okay, so my yarn is wound. I wound it yesterday, and then I cut my hair. And I'm ready to cast on. For this pattern, it starts with the hem and then goes to the body. So it's bottom up, and yeah. So I'm gonna cast on. Okay, I've reviewed the long tail tubular cast on, so now I can do that cast on. Okay, I feel like I could be close because this does go all the way around. So I'm gonna count. 30, 32, 132. I didn't have enough tail. Rough. Time to start over. Okay, I tried again, and I have a long enough tail. I'm at like 193 stitches, so I think we're good. Okay, I think I've got the right number of stitches, but I'll have to recount to make sure. So I've been working on my Helianthus tank. I started it, I cast on yesterday, and I've got like 2.5 inches. I'm trying it on currently right now. But I think it might be too big, which I know you probably just watched the clip that's like, I'm not gonna do a gauge swatch. I think it'll be great. I don't think I'm gonna swatch. Maybe I'll regret it, and then maybe I will swatch and be like, wow, should have done that earlier. It is the exact gauge that I thought it would be. It's like 6 stitches to an inch, which is exactly what I thought it would be. It's exactly the measurements that I thought it would be. I think I didn't measure myself, and I am not the measurements I thought I was. So it has like, okay, I'm gonna just show you against my belly. So it has like a good amount of ease, and it's so hard with bottom up to tell exactly how it's gonna fit, especially when you have the rest of it done. What I'm gonna do, I think, is compare it to a tank that I have that fits me and I wear, and see how similar it is to that. I'm making the smallest size because I'm using thicker yarn. So I might need to like make my own numbers up and just kind of see how it goes. I know I keep making patterns not in the suggested yarn, which is a choice that I am making. I like things to be difficult, I guess. I like the fabric at this gauge. It could be, I think it would be fine on slightly smaller needles. I used a size 3 on the half twisted rib, and then a size 4. I'm using a size 4 on the stockinette. Maybe I'll go down to a 2 and a 3. We'll see. Stay tuned. Okay, so I just grabbed this tank, and this tank I've worn before and wear it in the summer, and it fits me pretty well. It's quite a bit longer than the pattern is. The pattern is about 8 inches before armholes, and this is probably like 15. So I'd have to kind of imagine it sitting higher up, like there. And my tank is a little bit wider by maybe 1/2 inch, or 1 inch total. I laid it down on top of it. I'll show you a clip of laying it down on top of it so you can see. Here is my tank alongside this tank, and you can see it's about 1/2 inch, which would be about 1 inch total, wider than this blue tank. It's a little bit wider, and so I'm kind of thinking maybe I should frog it and start over on slightly smaller needles. I'd really like to be able to keep following the pattern as much as I can, so I think it just might be a start over kind of thing, which does suck, but I did do all of this starting yesterday, so I feel like it's fine. It's also like that's part of the process of knitting and like doing a project is I want it to be, in the end, I want it to be something that I'm gonna wear. I want it to be something that I care about, and the time it took, the few hours that it took to do these first few inches is worth going back and starting it over for something that's gonna have a better fit. So should I have done a gauge swatch? Maybe, but my gauge is exactly what I thought it would be. So I don't think that would have fixed the problem of me not knowing what size I should have picked or how many inches around I wanted it to be. So, okay, well, I think I'm gonna wait to frog it until tomorrow because it is my bedtime now. So stay tuned. Hi, Mango. You settle? Okay, it is the next day and it's time to frog. All my hard work. Mango, you are not helpful. I love you. Time to frog all of my work. I think I'm just gonna go down a needle size. And I did so basically I was getting 6 stitches per inch. So if I get 6.5 stitches per inch on one needle size down, that should work out to a better overall circumference. Okay, I was using my cat's cat tower as my tripod, but then she decided that she wanted to play on the cat tower. And soon she'll probably decide she wants to come over here and knock my phone down over here. But whatever. So I think I'm just gonna go down a needle size, and I think that my gauge will be closer to like 6.5 stitches per inch or maybe 6.25 stitches per inch, which overall will take a couple inches off. And I think that it will be a good circumference if I do that, if I go down needles. So I actually was just using one needle size up from the recommended needle size, which is 2s and 3s. So I'm gonna go down to 2s and 3s, see if we can get a different gauge on this sport weight yarn, and yeah, hopefully get a better circumference. I'm gonna work on this. Hello again, Mango. Don't show that. It is the next day, and I finished all of my fully twisted rib on the hem, my 1 inch of twisted rib, and I'm back to about another inch in here. I have this much yarn left to like catch up to where I was before. And I did try it on, and the ease is much better. It's a much smaller amount of ease, and I think it's gonna be good. I haven't tried it on recently. I tried it on with like just some of the ribbing, so I will try it on again at some point. I am just gonna keep cruising on the body in stockinette. So the last time I filmed was not yesterday, but the day before yesterday. I have been cruising since then. I think I had just finished my twisted rib and knit a little bit of stockinette. I'm here now, so this is like, let's see, a good like 6 inches, I think. Yeah, I started my second ball yesterday. I went to a play last night, and because this is literally just stockinette, I knit throughout like the entire play, so that I got so much done during that. Yeah, this is where I am. I haven't knit a lot in the last like week and a half. I was focusing on finishing a test knit, which is now done. I'll probably have, when this goes up, I'll have pictures on my Instagram or something, so you can go check out the Joanna Tank by M Knits. But here's where I am. I have, let's see, about 8 inches, which I think is the amount that the pattern calls for, but I'm long. I have a long torso. So I'm gonna keep knitting maybe to 10 inches. So just a couple more inches. I'm almost done with my second ball. And yeah, I'm just cruising. It's just stocking it in the round, just knit forever. So yeah. Time to add ball number 3. White yarn kind of makes me nervous, and I just started knitting this, and like I started knitting the 3rd ball, and I realized a few minutes ago like what I've been doing today was knitting something else, and that yarn has been bleeding onto my hands a little bit. It's not super noticeable, I don't think, but like my thumb and kind of first fingers are a little bit green tinted from that yarn, and so now I'm like, am I gonna stain my white yarn green? I don't think I have, but I'm gonna wash my hands before I keep knitting on this. It just makes me nervous in general because it's like, I'm really good, it's like super good at getting things dirty, super great at that. So I actually don't really have like any white clothing items pretty much. So yeah, I get scared every time I knit on this that I'm gonna make a massive mistake and spill on it and get it totally stained. So we'll see if it actually stays white throughout the whole time. I mean, obviously later at some point it will be blue, but we'll see if the white parts can stay white. Okay, I have split the front and the back, and I worked up the front, and I've worked the first strap, that's what that's called. And now, yeah, I'm getting really close, and I put it on, and I think it is gonna fit really well. So, almost done. Like, home stretch of knitting this, and then will be the rest of this, which will be cyanotyping it. I just finished the neckline on my tank, so I just need to do the armholes. I feel like the finishing parts always take so much longer than you want them to or expect them to. Like, I feel like I cruised through everything until the neckline. Hi, Maple. Hi. Hi, baby. And now I just have to do the sleeves, and the neckline felt like it took forever, even though it only, like, I don't know. I mean, I just like sat down to do it the past like 2 hours, and so, hi, you're blocking the whole tank. Yeah, you want to be the center of attention, huh? So yeah, I'll catch you when I'm done with the armholes, and then it'll be time to cyanotype. Okay, I am done with my tank. The fit is really perfect. My gauge on knitting flat, you can kind of see knitting flat was a little bit different, or I don't know if the gauge was different actually, but it's not as consistent, which makes sense you're doing knit rows and then you're doing purl rows, and your tension is slightly different on those. I'm hoping that will block out nicely, but it's done. And now, don't come for me, but I'm gonna make some swatches. I know it's backwards, but I wanna do some cyanotype tests on the swatches. So I'm gonna make some swatches with the yarn that I have left over. I actually didn't have as much yarn left over as I thought I was going to, so I'm actually really glad that I didn't do a swatch before, and it fits perfectly, so it all worked out. I did have to start over, but that's what happens when you don't do a swatch. So I'm gonna make some swatches and then I'll do some tests. I think I originally said that I was gonna do the flower bowl, but now I have even cooler bowls and plates, and so I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll do one on the back and one on the front. Maybe I'll just do 2 different bowls, one on the back and one on the front. I love the fit. This is so comfortable. This cotton feels so nice against my skin. And I might need to make another one in like a different color to wear separately. So yeah, I'll show you some swatches. Okay, I made some swatches. I have these 2 swatches and exactly this much yarn left, which is like multiple bits and pieces. And I, again, am just grateful that I did not make a swatch before, because I would have been really stressed about yarn, and I probably would have had to rip out my swatch so that I didn't feel stressed about yarn. So I got 2 swatches. I think they'll work really similarly to previous cotton yarn that I've cyanotyped on, so I'm not concerned. But I do want to do some swatches, and I'm also trying to decide if I want to print them outside or inside with my UV lights. It's sunny and nice today, so I might just print them outside. But the shadows will be different inside versus outside. And then I still have to decide what I'm going to put on my shirt. I think I might go with the bowl, and on the back I might do a different plate that's like geometric and not planty. But we'll see. Let's go make some cyanotypes. This might be really loud because the air conditioning is going, but I took my swatches outside and I decided to do this flower bowl on one of the swatches and then this geometric bowl on the other swatch. I'm kind of thinking that I want to use both of those, one on the back and one on the front. So we'll see how they turn out. I'm gonna leave them out here for a little while. Okay, these are finished exposing. I'm gonna take them downstairs. I'm gonna take them downstairs and wash them out. Hopefully they will look good. Okay, it's like a week later or 2. I don't know. I don't know. But I think the last thing I was talking about was making some tests. And these are how my tests turned out. So I used a like flat plate, glass plate for this one. And then I used like the bowl with flowers for this one. They didn't turn out as well as I wanted them to. So now which is why it's been like a week. I've been kind of stuck. But I think today I'm going to coat my tank and print it. I still haven't fully decided what I'm gonna print on it, but I found a dragonfly last week or earlier this week. A dead dragonfly on the side of the road that was like pretty much fully intact, and I kind of am feeling like I want to print that on my shirt. I did some on paper and it was really, really cool. You could see the wings really clearly. So maybe I'll print the dragonfly with like some hydrangea like flower petals around it, because that's like the test that I did on paper and it looked really cool. So maybe I'll do that, and then maybe on the back I'll do like, I've been really liking ferns, but like 2 different layers of ferns lately, where I like expose the image in the sun or under the UV light, And then partway through, I take off some of the fern leaves, and that kind of makes it look like those fade to the background, which is, I think, really cool. So maybe I'll do ferns on the back and dragonfly hydrangea mixture on the front, which is totally different from what I originally had in mind, which is fine. Like that's part of how projects go, is that you change your mind throughout and get to experiment with different things. And yeah, so I'm gonna coat my my tank. And my plan is to do like a rectangle shape that has pretty clearly defined edges. So what I will do is use like a picture frame or like something to fully block off kind of like an 8x10 area with even perpendicular lines. I think that will look the best. But maybe in the future I'll try it without any without clearly defined edges and just like coating it all. I don't know. I can do anything. The world is my oyster. I have so many things I could try. It does take time, obviously, and effort and thought and everything. But there are a lot of things I can try, and just because I'm not trying them for this project doesn't mean they're totally out of the question for a future project. So I literally don't have any more yarn left, so I can't do any more tests, which kind of sucks. I mean, I could do more tests. I work at a yarn store. I could buy more yarn and make a swatch and do more tests, but I don't want to, but I could. So I'm gonna coat my tank top and hopefully print it today. Hopefully it dries pretty quickly and I can get it printed today. I am gonna use my UV lights inside because today is really cloudy and like kind of raining on and off. So I don't think I can get a consistent print outside. And I feel better about doing the dragonfly inside because I did it inside under the UV lights previously. I always prefer to use the sun, but sometimes it just isn't possible or doesn't make sense for a project. And I think that's the case this time, so. I am down here in my makerspace, my little studio, and I coated my tank. It is pretty much all the way dry and I think ready to be like set up. I have a piece of cardboard in here so that it didn't bleed to the other side. I haven't coated the back yet, as you can clearly see. I think I'm gonna do it another day or like maybe after I print this one. So pretty much all the way dry, and I have my dragonfly. Hopefully that's like in focus. I don't know. There's my dragonfly. It's a green darner, is the kind of dragonfly that it is. And you can see all of the detail on the wings. You probably can't, but I can. In order to get the best detail in the print, you want anything that has detail in it, you want it squished as close as possible to the surface that you're printing on. And in order to do that, I usually use a piece of acrylic or glass laid over the top of whatever I'm printing so that it is super close, super tight to the surface. With the dragonfly, the body is three-dimensional and the wings are more two-dimensional. And so I can't just put a piece of glass on top because the wings will lift up and not be as in focus. So my solution for this that I did on some paper prints is I printed the dragonfly and I got two pieces of glass and put one piece of glass for the left wings and one piece of glass for the right wings. But as you can see in this image, there are kind of lines of where the glass was because the glass casts a shadow. So I want to try and avoid that. I did have some better prints that I don't have with me because I gifted them to some friends. I did have some prints turn out really well and not really quite have this issue, and I'm thinking maybe if I get a slightly longer exposure time without compromising the like detail of the wings, hopefully I can avoid having kind of the lines of the glass. So I think I'm gonna set this up with my dragonfly and then hydrangea leaves, petals spread all throughout. That's kind of my favorite printed like paper version of this print. I thought that was really, really cool. I like this one as well with like seeds, but the hydrangeas are really cool and I think it is a really well-balanced composition. So I'm gonna start setting this up and hopefully I can get it all to work out how I want it to. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, I exposed it for about 9 minutes and I hope it works. This is gonna be so sad if it turns out poorly, but I'll be okay. I'll be really sad though. Okay, so this is gonna be our first clue of what it will look like. I am so nervous. I hope it wasn't too long for the wings. Okay. These are glass. Okay, here's our dragonfly. This is what it's looking like so far. I'm really hoping these details come through, but I don't know if they will. The hydrangeas are looking pretty good. Oh, I don't know how I'm gonna get all these off here. They're so sticky. Okay, I got all the hydrangea leaves off. I took the cardboard out. And now it is time to rinse. Okay, I've been watching it for a little bit and I think it's turning out really cool. There's not quite as much detail in the wings as I would have liked for there to be, but I still think it's turning out really cool. I really like the hydrangeas, and the color is, I think, pretty much exactly what I wanted it to be. So it needs a little bit more rinsing, but we'll see how it turns out. Is it moist? Yes. Am I wearing it anyway? Also, yes. Ta-da! There's my little dragonfly. I really like it. I wish that the wings were a little bit more like defined, but also for printing on like sport weight cotton, it's never gonna be as crisp as it would be like on paper. But I think it looks so cool. Wow. Okay, I do have to take it off my body because it is wet. So I'm gonna block it, reblock it, and then I'll do the back at some point. Not today, but I really like it. I think it's so cool. Wow, okay. Now I have a dragonfly shirt. That was so cool. I'm glad it turned out well. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it's still so good. It's really good. So yeah, stay tuned for the back. Hello, it is the Toby of I just finished editing the whole video, but I didn't do the back yet. Maybe I will, but I just wanted to kind of wrap up the video, talk about a few things I noticed and like things I might do differently next time, and just like show it off one more time. I wore this to, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, they're cat toys. I wore this to a workshop, a Cyanotype on Knits workshop that I led, and it was like so cool to just like show something I made at the workshop. I did the same with the vest that I made, but this feels a little bit more casual and like not quite so involved, and I think shows workshop participants like what you can do with doing Cyanotype on knits. I wanted to talk about one thing that I didn't really talk about in the video at all, but I did notice, and I'm sure you noticed as well, and so I wanted to talk about it. The way that the Cyanotype showed up from basically here up is really different than how it showed up from here down. Now that it's fully done, the difference is way less pronounced, but the difference was really clear when I was coating the top, and it was really clear like when I was washing it off. You could see that this part was like way darker than this part, and looking at it in person and like maybe in this video you can tell like this is a lot, like it's just a different kind of shade than it is down here. I don't know for sure if from here up is a completely different skein. It totally could be. It could be the like first skein I had, and it could have just kind of been a little bit different than the rest of the skeins. Like I had that one and then I bought 3 more, and that one didn't have a tag or dye lot, and so I don't know if it was the same dye lot. I don't know, but I don't think like in the end it didn't make a huge difference. But I know like watching through the video, like I saw really clearly like, oh, washing it off you could really see that difference. I think it's just a different skein that was a different dye lot or something. Not that it should be a dye lot because it's like undyed yarn, but just like a different skein from a different time, processed a little bit differently. I don't know, but I noticed that. If I were to do this again, I think I prefer a thinner yarn for Cyanotype. I think it makes things like show up a lot more clearly. That said, this organic cotton, well, the other cotton that I've used is also organic, but like this cotton in particular is so soft and cozy, and I really like it, and so I do think I might make a t-shirt with it, like in a like just solid color. But yeah, thank you for watching and supporting me in, well, not even like supporting me, but like learning with me and watching my creative process. It's really fun for me to document, and I hope that there is something in this video that inspired you or something that you learned. And if yes, tell me what that was in the comments, and tell me what you're making, tell me what you're working on, and how you're kind of thinking outside the box or trying something new. And I hope you liked my little acoustic ukulele background. I didn't want to deal with finding like non-copyright music, whatever, so I just played some ukulele. It's not one of my like strongest suits, but I thought it would be fun. So, okay, this has been a long outro, so I'll wrap it up there. Check out my Instagram. I might do the back, and that is probably where I would post what I did on the back, and maybe I will do a plate. I know I didn't do anything I said I was gonna do at the beginning of the video, and it turned out really differently, and I totally love it. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and comment. Oh, also a little trivia if you got this far. See if you can tell me how many different watches and watch bands I wore throughout this video. Okay, bye.